Hello, everybody, and welcome to BCC. Because I'm talking, that means only one thing tonight. We are doing Emerald City. It's been a bit. My name is Chameleon Ice, and I'll be your GM for this evening. I'm joined here by Narestra, who is playing our delinquent Perry tonight. Also by OPT, who is playing Jacob, our doomed. And by TG, who is playing Henry, our banana. Wait, no, sorry, our Janice.
I, I banana sauce.
Yep, banana sauce.
Doesn't look very legit.
Let's vote him out.
Anywho, for those of you who don't remember what happened last time on Emerald City, our brave and glorious heroes, I think, had a bit of an ice cream party, if I remember correctly. No, that was
it was ice cream and rom-coms. Yes,
you did have that. And in the process of that, you also all learned about Perry being accused of the terrible weather event that had hit the city and caused mass destruction and break-ins. And you, of course, know better, but the police had their suspicions. After having your wonderful night of ice cream and rom-coms, and I think you got the next day off of school because you witnessed a terrible event and everything. On the next evening, Thursday evening, you guys went and you met with the city's vigilante hero, Nightshade. And I say met, but it's more like you mugged him in a park. He came to the park to talk to you guys because you called him, and you rightly bound him up with ice against a tree and threatened to break his neck because he put Henry's boyfriend Joey in grave peril. After a long drawn-out discussion, where Henry proved that he was a better man by not giving in to inciting violence, you guys let Nightshade go back off into the night. And I forget, did you guys tell him about what you think is going on with the Samedi brothers?
Yes.
You did, okay. So, you guys told Nightshade and the police about your suspecting of the Samedi brothers, the restaurateurs, planning something nefarious during the city's gala event dinner for the city's grand hero, Captain Bucky. And on this night, Friday night, you guys are at that very event because you're catering it with Samedis. We actually left off with you guys arriving at the party, and so that's what we're going to have for our cover tonight for Emerald City Issue 9, Dashed and Dined. So on the cover is our three heroes plus Joey standing all in a nice, good kind of a diamond formation, showing off their beautiful bow ties that they have, all of different kind of patterns and such, and looking ready to be fancy for the night as you wait the tables. So, we open up tonight, and you guys are at the event. You guys have just gotten there, and you are going in to get yourselves ready. Looks like folks are kind of pouring in, sort of the standard before the event type stuff to get yourselves ready to help out. So, do you guys all actually go to the event and go to your stations to help just as you told Mr. Samedi you would?
Of
Of
course.
course we do.
You have to play this as close to the vest as possible.
Exactly.
You are wearing vests.
I will say, though, that Henry, as sort of like the lead waiter, does make a point of walking around and scoping out the entire venue.
Okay. That is a very smart thing to do. Did you actually want to assess the situation properly, or you just kind of like a general look?
No, that's me prefacing a dangerous web for later.
Oh, never mind.
I just wanted to make sure it was out there.
I believe that is Teach setting you up for a dangerous move.
As always.
Yep.
Regardless, as you guys do kind of like get there and you do look around the place, it is a beautiful venue. It's massive and it's actually all open air. It's a big I'd almost say not red carpet events. That's not kind of what that means really, but it's all very beautiful and well set up with like streamers in the air and like just these nice tables. It's almost like a big wedding reception. And at the back of the area, there's this really very obvious stage pedestal type deal, which has a big seating area where it looks like some big wigs are definitely going to be seating. But yeah, as you're going around looking around, Marco Samedi is clearly going around like a chicken with his head cut off, making sure everything is where it should be. Trying to make sure all the catering is being done right, all the food is like ready to go, and just perfect. And he wants to make sure that you guys also know your roles because he's going to make sure that you are all taking care of specific sections of the venue. So he kind of runs up to each of you in turn, and he just says, "Here, you're responsible for this table, these tables, this tables," and he lends you like a list of tables, and they're all clearly like numbered or lettered rather. Yeah, they're all different like letters of tables you guys are responsible for. So you kind of just know that there's a plan going on tonight, and he looks especially energized.
Oh, like Jacob's just gonna like fall in line, and do everything he's asked of right now.
Jacob,
Yes.
Marco actually comes up to you specifically,
Okay.
and he says, "Oh, good, you came. I have a very special place for you to be tonight.
Oh yes.
You, your name is what was it again?
Jacob.
Jacob. Good, Jacob. You will be serving the big table tonight.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. You'll be serving the very Captain Bucky himself."
So Jacob takes this kind of breath and clearly stops himself from sighing out loud. I see.
Yes, Captain Bucky and the mayor, yes, are going to be there, and I need you to do your best. So, don't screw up.
Yes, sir.
Good, very good.
He doesn't give this look of confidence in that, but he gives a smile like, "Yes, sir."
Good, very good. I knew I'd be able to count on a friend of Henry's.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes off and he starts trying to get everything else ready.
So Perry has made his way back into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm restocking my supplies.
Nice.
With what?
I haven't decided yet.
Do you have always prepared?
I do!
So this is the game where we just look at the GM and say, counterspell, 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 counterspell.
Speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
so Jacob is gonna go find a nice, quiet, like secluded place, either in the kitchen with Perry, or I don't know, like the restroom or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna take a deep sigh, and he's gonna close his eyes because he's really curious as to what's going to happen tonight. And
You actually did have a vision already, but go on.
did I have this thing?
Yeah, you did.
What I did with this?
So as you're sitting there and you're concentrating, you recall the vision that you had only about a night or two ago. In fact, I think you might have tapped into it twice.
Which may have been like 5 issues ago.
Oh, no, it was only one issue ago.
Really?
Yes, I actually have it
Yeah.
written down.
I don't
Yes.
remember doing this. I'm bad.
No, it's all right. It was kind of a weird one. You had a strange vision about tonight where you saw an apple on a pedestal, as well as a building sitting at a table, and all these other sort of trippy imagery. And you saw, above all else, you were able to discern that something terrible was going to happen at the event tonight. And you got the impression that somehow Captain Bucky was going to be involved.
Okay. So never mind about leaving anywhere. So, and I told everyone this. I'm certain.
Oh yeah, you told them that pretty quickly.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So I'll just. Jacob will just like get as prepared as possible. Which I don't know what that entails per se, but make sure it's all combed up and everything. Even though he was pretty well decked out thanks to Henry. I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, you guys are dressed to the
Oh,
nines.
100%.
Absolutely. But anyway, no, he'll get wherever he's supposed to get and make sure the table, if it isn't set already, make sure it's all set and gets everything all nice and very, very, very finely perfect.
All right. So as you guys get yourselves ready, guests start to kind of slowly trickle in, and before you know it, the event is on.
I'm assuming that Henry isn't in charge of any one specific table. He's just sort of like the wandering around, making sure everything's good
For the
scenario
most
here.
part, you still have some specific tables you're kind of like
Yeah.
suggested to be at.
Right.
But-
But he is going to start with everyone because I'm assuming it's a fancy party. There's hors d'oeuvres.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. He is totally walking around, and he's he has managed to manipulate the fact so he has the tray of champagne.
Nice. That's a useful thing to have.
Of course.
As the party does get to be underway, though, you guys start noticing some things. Specifically, people I would notice would be probably Jacob and especially Perry, is that a number of the guests that are coming in here actually seem to be folks that are from the company of Gendine. The big company in the city that's not only responsible for Henry's condition, but...
Mine?
Huh? No, not yours. You're fine.
You said Henry's condition.
Sorry, I meant Jacob's.
I'm like, Henry's?
Henry's responsible for his own condition. Was it Gendine? Wait a second. It was a general... I was trying to remember. I thought
It is the right name, just no relation to mine.
Okay, that's right.
Oh, okay.
A subsidiary.
Yes. It's a subsidiary of Gentech.
Right. Okay, that's what
Yeah,
Oh,
yours
she was
is
Gentech.
yours is Gentech. Mine was Gendine, which is what the confusion
Right.
was.
Okay, so I'm Gentech. That's
Yes,
it.
you're Gentech.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because technology, whatever.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Perry, you also notice that there are folks there from the division of Gentech known as Storm.
So Perry walks over to Henry and grabs a sip of champagne.
Will not let you have it.
You don't see me take it. I'm a delinquent.
You said you walked over and took it. If you were walking over and take it, he's not going to let you have it.
So how are
if
you
you're
taking it?
If
How
you're
are you-
sneaking it, he's not going to stop you, but he's not going to
Okay.
let you take it.
Yeah.
I'm sneaking it.
Okay, so how do you sneakily do this, Perry? Like, what's your ruse?
So Perry kind of walks up while Henry's back's to him, and he just kind of pulls one off. Yeah, nothing for that.
All right, no, it's fine. So you go and then you
Um,
pocket one of those
yeah.
glasses.
and so as he's taking a sip on the champagne, Henry,
Yes.
the Gentech people are here, and they're Storm.
Okay. What do you want me to do about it right now? I'm the champagne guy. You
Have a
wanna-
sip.
No, I can't. If you want to listen in on them, go grab the plate of prosciutto wrapped melon and offer them one.
Where's the prosciutto wrapped melon?
It's the thing that's wrapped in what looks like bacon.
Oh.
And don't eat any of it.
Oh, okay. So Perry's gonna go grab the
And then
melon.
before you go off, and he pulls you aside and goes, "No, seriously, don't eat any of it. I can't guarantee I didn't poison any just for you."
Why did you poison?
No. I did nothing. I'm just saying you can't guarantee I didn't.
I'm the delinquent. I'm the misbehavior.
And Henry just has this look on his face of,
All right, fine. So Perry goes and gets the prosciutto and walks over to the Storm.
All right, Perry, as you're getting the prosciutto, and before you get a chance to walk over towards the Storm's various tables they have there, there's actually a very loud amount of ruckus that erupts in the middle of the floor. And it almost seems like there's a parting of the Red Sea
Oh dear.
as walking through the middle of this entire venue is Captain Bucky himself. He's walking through and he has some small police detail around him as well as the mayor near to him. And he is smiling that big, awesome, heroic smile that's like a 5-mile grin. And he's looking all like in his cape and his like Superman type suit. And people are kind of clapping for him and cheering for him as he's just walking by and just kind of looking like he definitely belongs there. And it makes it very difficult for you to get across. But as you're watching, you do see him kind of saunter up towards that large table on that stage and sit up there, taking a seat next to the mayor and next to also a curiously bald individual who's sitting on like to his other side. Who looks a little bit what's the word? Businessy? Weasley? I don't know. Dapper, yes.
Slimy.
No. Why?
Yes.
I'm going to assess the situation.
Jacob just gives a look
Okay.
over to Henry, like, help me, please.
Go ahead and assess the situation, Perry.
you hear a little wisp on the wind that just says, "Do your job."
Also, I'm using Criminal Mind with this, so
Ooh, okay.
it's just a bonus for. I can always ask on a miss, even.
Okay. Alrighty, so superior there. Okay, so 7
So I get 1 plus my
one.
Criminal Mind.
Mhm.
What
So what's
here is
that?
in the greatest danger?
What here is in the greatest danger? As you're looking around, you actually notice that there's a great deal of guests here that are just simple civilians. And they look extremely caught up in the moment of stuff. And you kind of get an inkling in the back of your mind that, weirdly enough, the civilians are in the greatest danger here compared to, like, of course, the heroes and the big celebs that are around.
And GM question for, I guess, TJ and you. For Criminal Minds, does it count as my one question, or do I get that in addition?
You get that question in addition to.
I
So
always
whatever
start
you
with
get
one
from assess the
question,
situation, you get a
but-
bonus question from Criminal Mind. There's a list
Awesome.
on Criminal Minds you have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
It's a very specific thing. Useful or valuable to you? It depends on what you're looking to accomplish, I would say.
I mean, protecting the civilians is unfoiling the plot. I guess let's go there. Unfoiling the plot.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What is useful or valuable to you here, especially in terms of like protecting folks? I would probably say your first instinct being the folks that are from the Storm Division. You actually get the feeling that trying to figure out what's going on over there may actually be kind of useful for you in terms of keeping folks safe, because you know they're bad news in general.
So Perry's gonna wander over as intended and kind of observe the storm guys.
Makes sense. And Jacob, are you doing anything specific as you're here, or are you just kind of shaking in your boots at knowing you're going to have to serve some bigwigs?
He's not shaking in his boots about that at all. He's more just annoyed he's going to have to be serving Captain Bucky. But he's doing the whole, like, standing, like, tall and like a waiter would be doing as he's waiting for. And if they're sitting down and everything, he'll bring out the. Is he bussing too, or?
You guys are just getting out the food right now, so you're just kind of bringing the food to them.
Well, I mean, it just started, so I'm getting water and drinks for everybody.
Right. Yeah, you're doing the customary stuff.
Yeah. So just the basics.
Okay. So that means that you guys are now officially catering a fantastic event. So when you cater a fantastic event, roll superior. So all three of you guys.
You said superior, correct?
Correct.
So because of something that happened last time, I have +1 forward to this roll.
Right.
I have a
I
negative 2 to superior, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Oof.
Not sure why this.
You cut out horribly, Teach.
I said I'm not sure why this is.
You're still cutting out.
It's superior for various reasons. Mostly because you're trying to figure out what's going on. Because this is less about being good caterer. And don't forget, you guys do have team in the pool. But
For what? We got a 2 and a 4.
yeah,
And a
it's not
10.
great. So that means this is going to be mostly applying to Perry.
I'll take it.
So on a hit, you, Perry, are able to look past all the glitz and glamour, and see things for what they really are. So on a 7-9, you get to choose one. On a 10+, you get to choose 2. There are a number of extremely important guests here tonight, and you can get so close to them. Choose one person that you know to be at the event tonight. You may ask 2 questions, as if you had previously them asked, but you may also ask, what does this person really think about the event tonight? Or you notice an important figure doing something really embarrassing. Say who you saw and what they did that put them in such a pickle. then take influence over you away from that person. Or celebrities are full of gossip and waiters hear everything. Mention one person or group at this event that you're trying to pick up dirt on, and you may ask one question about them that you've been dying to know. The GM will answer as honestly as possible. You help one of your fellow catering buddies out of a faux pas they almost made. Say who you're recovering for and what mistake they nearly made. That teammate may clear a condition or mark potential. On a miss, though, for Jacob and Henry, you're absolutely smitten by the sights and sounds of these high-class people. Choose one important person here that you will be completely impressed by. That person takes influence over you, and you will owe them a favor at a later date.
Well, Henry's is very easy here. And I think this makes the most sense thematically.
I'm guessing what it is, but go ahead.
No, go ahead, guess. I'll tell you if you're right.
I'm guessing it's your father. He's here.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You are 100% correct. So there's a label shift that will be involved here. It doesn't have to happen now per se,
Right.
but it can happen at a later date when it's applicable.
Makes sense.
I just figure because they're not actually actively having a conversation right now, so the label shift can't happen.
Exactly.
But I figure that makes the most sense here.
Right.
Alrighty. And
We'll let Jacob go first, too.
I don't know.
you can make up somebody if you want to entirely. It could be like a person or group, but it could also be, don't forget, Dr. Collins did say he was going to be at this event.
Oh, that's right. Dr. Collins did say he was going to be there. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like what plays into what is said here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You would be completely impressed by. Oh, you know what? So yeah, Dr. Collins, because my guess is like it's like the first time Jacob's seen him outside of the lab or the lab. Two, he's probably dressed in some extravagantly like not over the top, but like a much more fancier thing than he ever wears normally.
That is a yes and no. I will tell you that Dr. Collins is dressed up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dressed up better than usual, but he looks a little bit muted, like he's trying not to stick out too much.
Okay. Well, I mean that's fine. Whatever. So,
but
so
yeah.
look, I mean, trying to make sure that makes sense. I guess it's just the fact that he's out and about. I guess that works.
It does.
All right. So now I got my fun stuff. Tej, I'm going to need your help with something in just a minute.
Okay.
I'm taking the bottom one for Tej. So ponder what stupid thing we can come up with for a minute. I know it says for me, but let's be honest.
Oh, that's actually very simple.
All right. So let me do the other one first, though. So Harry is going to actually go get close to the mayor.
Okay. I weirdly didn't expect that. That makes sense. Okay. So you're going to go take a closer look at the mayor. So somehow you managed to get a bit of a thing where you can go over, you can serve the mayor a bit more of his drink there because you're just in the right place at the right time. And as a point of fact, the mayor of Emerald City is a rabbit, not unlike Jacob.
Interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So my one question is, Mr. Mayor, what do you think about all of the vigilantism that's been going around in your city lately?
Ooh. Okay, and that's for the first one, right? Where you could ask a question. Or no, sorry.
No, it's the celebrities. Celebrities are full of gossip and way to share everything. Mention one person at the group, the mayor, that you're trying to pick up dirt on, and you may ask one question about them that you've been dying to know.
All right. So you're able to get from the mayor to kind of fill his drink, and he's already kind of starting off just a little bit on the tipsy side, like not completely slosh, but he's clearly willing to be a little bit more divulgent than normal. And he says quite openly that he thinks the vigilantes, I think they're absolutely useless refuse. We already have a hero in this city, and he's the only one we need. In fact, if I had my way, I'd make sure those vigilantes were locked up as quickly as possible. But you can't always pin them down because of their weird powers and everything. It's kind of scary when you stop and think about it, but we only have need for one hero in this city, and that's Captain Bucky. And he puts a handy hand on the back of Bucky, and
And there's like that little bubble, text bubble in the background. It's just Jacob just sighing internally.
So, Tej.
So as we've sort of turned, Henry failed this role, so he's kind of like a little smitten. So he's used to waitering. He's not used to doing all the fancy digs like this, even though he pretends like this is his element. It's totally not. So in sort of like his awe of watching all the pretty people, he runs into something and nearly spills the entire container of champagne.
ooh.
So Perry sees this, and he uses his weather control device to blow a gust of wind to keep the drinks balanced.
Because it's an outdoor venue, yeah.
This was on purpose. Who knew?
So you just see Perry really quickly hit a couple buttons. This gust of wind balances the table, and just like, okay.
Just gets a little nod there.
So you can clear condition or mark potential, Teach.
Oh, I'm 100% marking potential.
Nice.
Because with that, I'm one away from another advance.
So yeah. Otherwise, you guys are catering the event, and are you guys trying to check out anybody in particular while you're here? Though, otherwise, like, where are you trying to get in on? Who are you trying to look at?
I mean, Jacob would be paying attention to Captain Bucky if only to find out any kind of dirt he can to make him not as good a guy as he thinks he is.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Jacob, you're trying to get a close look at Captain Bucky there. And since you're paying so much attention to him, you're actually able to see that for the most part, he's actually a pretty swell guy when it comes to like talking to people who come up and are like, "Oh, I'm such a big fan," and people who are trying to greet him and shake his hand as such. But as you're looking, you do see every once in a while when it looks like nobody else is looking at him. Captain Bucky gets this kind of strange look on his face that looks, I would say, almost like soured or haggard. Sort of not unlike the way that Jacob sounds when he's sighing, but almost it looks like visible on his face.
So,
But it only lasts for a little bit of time, and you notice it.
So, at one of those times when that kind of happens is exactly when Jacob walks up to the table, but kind of like he walks up to the table, but kind of directly to him, and just kind of asks, "Can I get you anything, sir?"
And Captain Bucky immediately perks up, and he's like, "Oh no, just another water there, my fine sir, my young lad. Oh, good to see you working for. How old are you, son?"
Oh, 16, sir. Thank you.
16. I remember when I was that age. You stay in school, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. I plan on doing that. He's gonna pierce the mask.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I'm at +3 and I got it. 6.
Nice. Okay, so on a pierce the mask with a 7-9, you get to ask one.
How can I get him to open up to me?
You feel like as you get like a small, like, bit of this guy's nature just from like looking at him, that you feel like you could probably get him to open up to you. Oddly, by showing a little bit of solidarity when it comes to the whole hero gig.
Mm-hmm. So, Jacob is gonna bite his own bride, and he's going to give that kind of the big smile on his face, and kind of look towards Captain Bucky. He's like, so he plays it like he's kind of nervous at first. Like, so, Captain Bucky, sir, I was wondering if I might ask you something real quick.
Oh, I always have a moment for my fans. Go right ahead.
What made you decide you wanted to be a superhero?
Decide? There was no decision about it.
Well, I mean, obviously you have your powers, which I actually don't remember what Bucky's powers are, but I'm assuming like Superman kind of thing.
It basically is he's super strong, like super invulnerable, like all that stuff.
But I mean, some people would have just had those powers and just gone about their normal life and done whatever they wanted to. You've decided to do the whole superhero thing and save people and everything like that. And while that makes great, no, it doesn't make sense, but it's what moral people would do. I'm just kind of curious, what was there something that sparked you wanting to save people, or was it just because you had powers you felt you had to?
So, Captain Bucky kind of looks at you, and he actually matches your eyes for a little bit.
Jacob is definitely looking like he's asking a serious question.
Yeah, and Bucky, despite the fact that he's like having that huge billboard smile, you can see in his eyes like a small bit of like that down to earth, almost reality bit, where the mask comes off just a little bit. And he's like, well, to be honest with you, it all started one day. My brother was in trouble, and I found that I could fly to his rescue and save him.
Your brother?
And ever since that day, I knew that when you're given powers like mine, sometimes you have a responsibility to do awesome things with them. And, well, that's why superheroes solve super problems.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess I have one hypothetical scenario I wanted to ask somebody of a superhero like yourself. What if your powers were also causing harm to others or yourself?
He raises his brows at that. And he kind of takes a drink of his glass as he just kind of says, well, in that case, I might seek the help of people who know better than I do. And I'll do my best not to hurt anybody ever again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just, it would be awful if using your powers was shortening your lifespan, because you're using up your life energy or something like that.
Huh. It certainly would. What was your name again?
Oh, sorry, Jacob Ellis.
Well, nice talking with you, Jacob. But I think there's a whole lot of other thirsty people out there, and
yes.
You'll probably get to them.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time. Kind of gives a
That's
little,
all right.
little nod. And starts doing the rest of the waiter thing.
And Captain Bucky goes back to his drink of refreshing water. Okay.
I wanted carrot juice.
He's trying to break rabbit stereotypes, thank you.
Carrot juice on the rocks.
There you go. It's got to be like sparkling.
God.
It's Bugs Bunny, come on.
Yeah.
Sparkling carrot juice?
I don't know,
What type
man.
of monster are you?
They're rabbits. They're weird.
The kind that puts ketchup on a sandwich.
I mean, yes, that's true.
Henry, what are you doing?
His job.
Very good. Are you trying to listen to anybody in particular, or are you just trying to main the event and keep an eye on the
He
cement?
is keeping an eye out for his boss and his boss's brother, but for the most part, like, he's keeping an eye out for anything that looks like kind of like super shady, but he's trying to maintain the mundane side of this as much as he can.
Makes sense. All right. Henry, as you're looking around, kind of keeping a little bit of an eye out for your boss and his brother, Arthur, you actually do see Arthur Samedi pop up at the event. You didn't see him when you were getting things ready, but you see him now. And he's actually in the back, not too far from the kitchens. And every so often, as you're kind of going back and forth and taking things, you see him, I would say, almost conspiring with Marco in the sense that they're kind of like hushed over and they're kind of talking about some stuff back and forth. And go on.
So when he gets a chance, I'm assuming Henry's dad is here. So when he gets the chance, he is going to point out Arthur Samedi to his dad. As in that's the creepy guy I was telling you about.
And your father nods at that and says, "All right, we got eyes on them. They definitely have been up to something tonight. But thanks for the heads up, Henry. Keep doing your job. You do it well." So he pass you on to keep going.
There's a big Henry smile there.
Aw. So yeah, you notice after you say that your father does clearly get some security detail to be a little bit more on point about things. And Henry, as you go through the kitchen doors one last time here, you do manage to finally catch a little bit of their conversation that Arthur and have there. And you manage to just catch out of the corner of your ear something about for the finale tonight.
All right, Henry's going to rack his brain. After the food, is there supposed to be a show, or is he referring to dessert?
As far as you know, there doesn't appear to be any proper entertainment booked for the night aside from like the regular house band that's around. So it's probably dessert, you'd have to guess, as it's like a last course meal.
So Henry will send a text to the crew saying, overheard bits of conversation, something about finale, eyes open, especially during dessert.
Jacob gives the okay back.
And Henry hands a thumbs up. Oh, sorry, Joey sends a thumbs up to Henry.
But I like dessert.
Alrighty, guys. So, Perry, you just got finished smoozing with the mayor a little bit and seeing Jacob getting a chance to talk to Captain Bucky and such. And the way over to where those storm individuals were is currently clear now because there's no more people just kind of milling about in the middle of things. So,
Yeah, back to what I was actually trying to do.
yes.
So what are these fools up to?
So, what are you doing? You just trying to spy them out, or are you trying to kind of push your way in there?
I'm serving the hors d'oeuvres to
Very
these
good.
fine fools.
So, Perry, as you're serving up, you get to one of those tables that's clearly for the storm crew. Like, they actually has the letters of the division, but like the little title card. And there's several tables of these folks because there's quite a few people in the division. And at this table you're serving it to, there's actually 3 individuals that are seated here. We actually have what appears a male penguin who's kind of short, sitting on one side of the table. Yes, a penguin. What? He's wearing a tux. He's ready for the event.
Burgess Meredith, is that you?
You also see a somewhat salt and peppery fellow who looks pretty confident in a nice 3-piece suit, who's enjoying the table and having a bit of a friendly argument with a female lizard who's also at the table, who looks to be kind of in a bit of a heated debate. What is that thing?
It was a penguin.
The penguin.
Oh! And as you're serving it to them, you can hear them just kind of having slight arguments about the weather. Because of course they are.
Okay. So they're not doing anything suspicious.
Not overly.
I mean-
The penguin, he seems to be especially like kind of grumpy about the evening. Like he's not participating much. He just kind of is folding his arms and giving those kind of slurry responses.
I mean, they're arguing about the weather. There's nothing to argue about when it comes to the weather. That's suspicious.
It is odd that they argue about the weather, but Perry.
So Perry is going to do something mischievous.
Oh no.
Well, we
What's
have
he
a
doing?
penguin.
That was the GM sigh.
What's Perry doing?
I am going to make it very cold in here for the penguin.
Okay. So how are you doing that?
I have a weather machine.
Can I pet?
Or unleashing freak.
Okay. So wait, like what I'm asking is like you're trying to make like a cold breeze, you're trying to make it suddenly start snowing, like what you doing? Just kind of lowering the
Just a
temperature?
nice stiff cold breeze.
Okay, that's cool. That's simple enough. That's literally cool. It's simple enough for you to not have to do anything too crazy to pull it off. And
That's
you
why I
know
don't need to roll.
what? No, not for this. You're just making like a little bit of a breeze come But you do notice as you're doing it, the penguin's mood seems to improve a little bit, and the lizard seems to get worse. She actually does not seem to appreciate the cold all that much. But yeah, the penguin's mood seems to kind of improve a little bit, and he actually looks a little cheerful as he's kind of like taking a sip out of his glass and like looking just a little bit less grumpy.
There, my job's done.
He made his day just a bit better.
Can I get you anything, Mr. Penguin?
The penguin kind of like straightens his tie, and you're not quite sure if he's wearing a tux or not, or if he's just a penguin. And he says,
Yes.
He says, "Sir, doctor, thank you. I earned this title."
There's no doctor. You don't have to be snooty about it.
And you don't have to be rude about it.
Okay, with that, Perry's going to hit another button on the wristwatch, and it's going to start to be bacon here.
And Henry at this point is going to come over as the head waiter, put his arm around Perry, smack the watch, and go, "Okay, you need to go back to your section." And he goes, "I apologize for that." He gets a little enamored sometimes and wants to wander off and talk to people. "Can I offer you a glass of champagne?"
These are the smart people.
The penguin actually opens up his flipper. "I was just about to ask for one, thank you." And he takes it up and immediately downs it and looks pretty satisfied at that. And then immediately holds his hand up for another.
Yeah, Henry just sits there as he's whispering, "Asking questions is one thing. Getting yourself all uppity because they're being rude is not how you do this.
But
Go get a new plate of hors d'oeuvres. Go."
fine.
And Perry, as you're walking out, you do happen to hear out of the corner of your ear, and Henry, you hear anyway, that the lizard and the man who are arguing, they actually are arguing, it seems, about weather modulation. As in, like, changing the weather and how to affect it.
Yeah.
And they're talking about in a very kind of saying, like, no, if you did this, like, do this for 5 degrees higher there, this way, it will cause a catastrophic event, and no, this is perfectly controllable. And you clearly pick up on that.
And Henry looks as he's looks at the penguin as he's handing him the glass of champagne and goes, "I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but is what they're talking about, could that be what caused all those crazy storms the other day?"
The doctor kind of just sips his champagne, and he kind of waves a flipper at them and says, "Oh, no, they're just blowing hot air all over the place. This is all theory crafty for them. All this is something they cook up in the lab, and they have a contest back and forth the entire time about whose theory's actually going to work and which combination of equations is going to cause an explosion or a hurricane or whatever. It's all no."
Well,
Nothing
hold on, wait. You can blow things up with math?
Why do you think we do it?
And Henry does the eyes light up like, ah.
And
hands the penguin another glass of champagne.
in the very far background, you hear Perry screaming, "No math!"
So, and as you're serving this guy champagne, you kind of hear bits and pieces of this argument that they're having, and some of it goes completely over your head because it's like levels of science that you wouldn't begin to know. But a lot of it's very clear that one seems to be in favor of being able to kind of modify the weather a little bit and being able to kind of control that. And the other one thinks it's completely impossible. And it seems to be the human man, the human who seems to be a little bit more in favor of being able to kind of like control and modify the weather and like harness it for good purposes here. And the lizard seems to think it's a little bit more on the side.
Makes sense. So Henry will clock both of them and then excuse himself from Dr. Penguin and head over to them and be champagne.
Oh, Dr. Penguin actually gives you his card as you're going out, saying like, "Hey, when you get a chance, come back here for some more. Dr. Lovelace, thank you."
Excellent. He pockets the card and walks over. Champagne.
Just giving it to people. You're just doing your regular champagne round, you mean? Or
Yeah, no, but he specifically goes over to the two arguing for champagne first.
Oh, okay. So The lizard kind of holds up a hand and says, "No, I'm fine, thanks." And the guy just actually puts on a very businessman surprisingly smile, where he's instantly charming in an instant. Like, just go, "Oh, thank you very much, my good man." By the way, do you have any more of these wonderful, one of these things wrapped in bacon? Piccadillys, piccados. What do you call them? They're the hors d'oeuvres.
Eggs in a blanket.
Prosciuttos.
Okay.
Yes,
Piccadilly is the circus in London.
I knew it was one of those things. No, thank you very much.
I can have some sent right over.
No, thank you very much, sir.
He walks past Perry to go find another waiter who isn't Perry and isn't Joey to bring the prosciutto and melon over.
Question, is that Jacob or is that somebody else?
No, Jacob's on the head table. Henry's not taking him off the head table.
Okay, cool. So you get one of the other waiters there who quickly hops to it and starts to bring over the prosciuttos to the table. So, as the night goes on, things seem to be going pretty swimmingly. At least, so far. I'm not sure if you guys are planning anything closer, as it seems you're closer to the potential reveal of dessert. But specifically, Henry, you do notice that the Smetties seem to be getting a little bit more active as it gets further into the night, to the point where you notice at one point that Arthur has completely disappeared. And he's nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, Marco seems to be kind of wringing his hands and looking a little bit.
Yeah, so at this point before dessert, like in the middle of after the food service is happening while people are eating before dessert, while that's all getting prepped, Henry is going to go find Marco.
All right, he's not too hard to find. He's pretty close to the kitchen, watching over the proceedings. He's been there all night, more or less, around that area. So you find him.
So Henry is going to go ahead and walk up to his boss and goes, "Everything going good so far?"
But yes. Yes, it seems to be going on very well so far. You're doing a great job, Henry. I'm so glad that I asked you and your friends to help me run this event this evening. Everything seems to be going beautifully.
Yeah.
How does it look out there?
It looks good out here, but I can't help but notice I did see your brother here earlier, but he's not staying for dessert.
Oh, Arthur, no. He'll be back very soon. He's going out to get the final finishing piece for dessert.
And he looks, "Not sure why we need a final finishing piece. Didn't we have everything all set up? We've been prepping for this for a week."
Oh, Henry, my boy. You know the biggest part about dessert in any meal is the presentation.
And Henry just looks completely deadpan and goes, "If you got your brother to jump out of a cake and didn't ask me to be inside the cake, I'm going to be very mad at you, Mr. Sametti."
That is not what happens now. No.
Dang it!
But he kind of looks at
Jacob is the one who suddenly jumps out of the cake.
I was expecting a spit take as I saw you drinking when I was saying that.
I thought about it, but I like my monitors too much.
No, but that was a pretty loud thud.
Yes. He says, "Oh, no. I would not do that. It's, I don't think so, at least. Do you think that would work?" Or...
Perry walks by. "I think that'd be fabulous." And walks out.
Henry looks, no.
Oh, good, because that is not at all what is going on. But no, don't you worry about things. These are problems for grown-ups to worry about, not for little busboys and waiters. You just keep doing your wonderful job and let us worry about them.
Gives the thumbs up and he's like, "Well, I'm waiting for dessert anyway," so he's just sort of standing here where he would be waiting normally,
Nice.
keeping his eyes on everything.
This is important. Jacob, where are you right now?
I mean, he's probably standing in a place where he can get, no, he's made sure the main table's all taken care of and whatnot. He's actually gonna go see Dr. Collins.
Okay, you go and you see Dr. Collins, and you strangely find him sitting at a table mostly alone. He's kind of sitting there and he's looking like nicely dressed and everything. But he's also looking a little bit anxious as he's just kind of like drinking and eating quietly and like just kind of keeping an eye out on things. And you can see it like the little marquee there that's at the table. And it looks like it's something for like alumni staff or alumnus staff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you see Dr. Collins there mysteriously kind of alone.
Dr. C, what's up?
Oh, Jacob, everything's fine. It's just been a little while since I've been out and about, you know.
Yes, I know. That's why we invited you, remember?
I know, it's just slightly against my better judgment in terms of doing all this. But no, everything's fine. Did you notice anything odd?
I mean, odd. Certain context, maybe, but not in the context that you're thinking. Have you with you being over here by yourself, I'm assuming you've paid attention to a lot of things. Have you noticed anything yourself?
Yeah, I've noticed a few things. For one, I've noticed that a lot of my coworkers that were there before are still there now, despite everything that's happened.
Coworkers.
So, well, I mean, people that I knew from work, as in people that I worked around.
What, did you used to work for Gendan?
Gentech? Oh, I thought you knew.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did some lab work for them. Kind of how I was able to get in for this tonight, pretty easily.
So wait, you used to work for the company that's produced the thing that's inside me?
He kind of has a somber look on his face as he looks down. And he just kind of shrugs and, well, it might be part of the reason why I'm so intent on fixing it.
Why didn't you ever tell me that?
It wouldn't have helped anything.
I mean, it may have. Jacob actually stops talking at that. And, like, Right. Alright, so he again leans down a bit. So the vision I had made me think that something was going to happen and Captain Bucky is going to be involved. I've been watching this whole time. I haven't noticed anything.
Well, one thing you might have noticed up there. I don't know if I should actually tell you or not. In so many ways it's bad that you're here, but in so many ways it's good.
Doc, the fact is I'm here, so just deal with it.
Well, you see that table up there, where Captain Bucky is, and
yes,
the
I've
mayor.
Been watching it all day. Yes.
Yeah, and you see that fellow that's sitting to the right of Captain Bucky,
The bald guy, right?
the bald guy.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Not at all.
You had to take a wild guess. You're a smart kid.
It's like
Who do you think it
the
is?
CEO of Gentech?
Like I said, you're a smart kid.
Thanks.
Now, Henry, don't do anything
Why are you
crazy.
talking to Henry?
Sorry, Jacob. Sorry. Do that 2
Okay,
times.
it's pretty easy. Jacob has the fluffy tail. Henry has the supple butt. It's not that hard. Love
Jacob.
you, Andy.
Yes.
Don't do anything crazy. I know that I can guess what you're probably thinking right now, or at least what you're feeling. But I can't guarantee that he's ultimately responsible for anything.
Right.
That's why it's important to observe and not act.
Yep. All right. So
You gonna be okay?
no, but
No?
it's my job. So
It is. And you've been doing a great job doing the whole busing and helping people out and such. I Actually, I had no idea that you were good at all of this socializing stuff. I always got the impression that you were kind of antisocial and didn't communicate much with people.
I mean, kind of a necessity for this, but you know, it's helped to make a few friends who know what's actually going on.
Yeah, you have some good friends here. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for things and try to keep your head down, okay? And
Well-
he's trying to shift your labels
Oh,
too by telling you to kind of keep down. He's shifting your mundane up and your freak down.
considering I can't go up in mundane, I have to reject that.
Yeah.
Well then,
Alrighty. So let me take a look at your labels, see if we can actually move. And you get to choose which condition to mark, right? Or do I
I don't know. That's it.
teach?
Usually in this case, if there's one that makes sense, I say just that's one I pick. Usually I do it as the GM.
Makes sense. Okay. So, he can't make your mundane up, but he does make your freak go down. Because he don't want you to kind of stay low. And he's racing your superior by one. Because he wants you to pay attention. So, and you got to mark the ignition. Was guilty already marked there?
Yeah, that's the one I had.
Okay. So, you're going to mark angry, I'd say, because now you know that the guy who might be what happened to you is sitting right there at that table. Yeah, he just
So,
waves
yeah.
over. Like,
So yeah, that's right. So Jacob sighs, looks towards the table, kind of goes off to the side. And he's gonna grab, like the trays of waters and whatnot.
mhm.
And as he's going, like, he kind of spins around and whatnot. He accidentally bumps into Perry.
Ooh.
And because he's not really paying too much attention, and not much happens except like at least one of those glasses of water just kind of spills on top of him.
On top of Perry?
Yes. So he's
Really?
Like, oh, sorry. Gosh, man, I'm sorry. I'm kind of distracted right now.
So Perry takes one of the cups of water off of his tray and sticks it on the tray.
On Jacob's tray.
On Jacob's tray. And then Perry goes off to the bathroom to use his weather device to dry himself.
All right. Perry, as you go into the bathroom, Jacob, Henry, you guys are out in the main activity of things. And you actually see a large amount of commotion in the middle of the floor as a truck starts driving up through the middle of this whole venue. Like it goes right through the middle of the place and like doesn't. It's not like dangerous
That's right.
to go through.
We're outside, right? Okay.
They're outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So this truck is coming and sauntering up, and on the side of this truck, plastered nice and proudly, is a big logo for Samedi Brothers. And this truck starts kind of making a quick U-turn and starts backing up. And it starts backing up with the rear of it facing straight towards the table of where Captain Bucky and the mayor and all of them are. And as it's backing up, Marco starts getting kind of a big smile on his face, and starts like wringing his hands as he starts like walking towards that truck.
So, in the meantime, Bucky's like doling out waters to everybody at the table.
And Henry has found his way next to his old man.
And your old man, as you say, is currently directing security quietly and like surreptitiously to keep better eyes on this truck as it's getting closer.
Right.
Because
But by the way, I should mention that as he gives the CEO of Gentech Water, he like makes he makes this like over enunciated move to like, oh, your water, sir.
And the CEO just takes it, oh, thank you. And they're all getting excited for this truck, and there's a speaker that kind of pops up at the top of the truck and starts, and you can hear Arthur's voice from inside the truck as he starts to kind of announce, and proceeding to the city. Oh, he did drink it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, the CEO drinks the water.
yeah. So as it turns out, that water has liquid laxative in it.
Hey!
What?
Yep.
We did.
Yep.
That was the cup Perry put on the table, on the tray.
Well, kind of a bad time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you hear the spear come out and you can hear it crackle to life, there is a large, oddly well-timed explosion that happens near the front of the venue.
Oh boy.
And people start immediately panicking and screaming as they are running away from the front of the venue towards like the inner parts of where all the tables are. But you can see that there's starting to be some smoke that's streaming out of there. And there are people who are panicking terribly as they're running out. And the police are all kind of crowded around this van, and so they're not near enough in there to be able to help. What do you guys do?
Well, Jacob is immediately going to run into the back of the kitchen or the closet or something where there's nobody. And he's immediately going to like just change into his Swiftfoot outfit.
Okay. And Henry, what do you do when you see all this commotion start to erupt?
Henry's going to do two things. One, Henry's going to hit the button on his phone that triggers the shit's going down button. So Perry in the restroom cleaning himself off will know that something just crazy just happened. And then he's going to look at his dad and go, what do I do?
So with that information, Perry he wore his suit underneath because of course he did.
Of course he did.
Is going to put on the mask and walk out of the bathroom ready to go.
And Henry, your father, he kind of looks down at you and he says, get to the kitchen, hi with the rest of the staff. We got this under control, okay? And you can notice your father kind of looks over towards the table with the mayor and Captain Bucky and everything. And the mayor and the CEO are both cowering underneath the table. And Captain Bucky is oddly kind of sitting there and still finishing his dinner.
So,
and you
Henry
can see your father
clocks that.
And you can see your father kind of look over that and just kind of like shake his head. And it's a government stiffs. And he just kind of runs off to get his men.
So Swiftfoot he's not going to go rushing in quite yet. I mean, he's actually keeping a closer eye, like using his black suit to kind of like camouflage into darker areas, and he's kind of keeping an eye on Bucky to see what he's doing.
Well, Perry's not nearly as smart, and Perry's rushing in.
Okay. Good man, Perry, going in to help the innocents. Somebody's a hero.
Well, I figured, Perry's closer.
No, that makes sense.
No, Perry sees the CEO with Bucky and the mayor and wants to get closer to watch the show that's about to happen from what Perry already did.
Oh no, you're not rushing in to help the people, you're rushing in to look at the mayor? Because they're on the other side like, oh dear,
The CEO just got fed laxatives.
I know he did. He doesn't want anybody seeing him like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be good!
Okay, so you're watching, so let me get this right. Perry now, is watching the mayor and the CEO of Gentech cowering underneath the table.
Okay, so Perry's going to walk up and go, Mr. Mayor, I thought you didn't like vigilantes.
So the mayor,
you're cowering under the table.
The mayor, upon seeing you, he kind of starts immediately pointing a finger at you and it's like stepping up and jumping up, saying, criminal, police, he's not one of ours. And they are, oh yeah, that's right. He also the police all immediately kind of fall on that because they think you're the guy who caused the weather disturbance.
Oh, well, this was bad.
Yeah, and the mayor immediately kind of points that out. It's a terrorist! Get him! And the police immediately put their guns towards you.
It is at this point where Henry's going to trigger his dangerous web.
Oh dear. Okay, Henry,
We just go from one evil plot to the next.
Right?
lay it on me.
Have to roll for it.
Famous last words of a GM.
Nice.
So explain to me again what this does when you full hit it.
Okay.
It wrecks you.
When you reveal a trap you've left for someone using your powers, roll plus your mask's label. On a hit, your opponent trips into it and you get an opening or opportunity against them. On a 10 plus, take +1 forward in pursuing it. Okay, so knowing full well, after he's been casing everything, to expect something big and extravagant, Henry was making sure that there were plenty of ways on the outside of on the perimeter to make sure nobody got trapped in with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what he would having him and Joey go around and do was just place these little tiny bits and pieces, like just something he could attach sort of like his essence to. Basically, like little like pieces of hair around. Just basically he was scenting the area, for lack of a better description.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Henry now is going to be communicating with Joey, who's on the other side where all the commotion is happening about what's going on over there. So before I explain everything, I need to know what's actually going on the other side where the explosion happened.
Okay, where the explosion happened, Joey is indeed over there and looking at things. And he, I guess communicating via text, I'm guessing, like phone.
Text or through earbud, doesn't matter.
Probably my phone. So Joey texts you back, and he says there's 2 crazy gunmen in here who are threatening a few of the women for their jewelry for some reason, and they're acting really weird.
Okay, so what Henry does is he just texts back to Joey and goes, "Get spooky." And that's the trigger for Joey to basically duck behind a bush and start going full on like Lord of the Haunted Mansion, as these little bits and pieces of hair sort of float into and cause a couple of the bushes around to start floating and float towards the men. And I'm not sure about you, but if you're a crazed gunman, a couple of bushes floating at you with some crazy guy going, it's going to freak you the hell out.
Okay,
So basically, I'm poltergeisting them.
gotcha. Trying to determine that probably be a roll to provoke, I think, because you want these guys to specifically do something.
Well, right now, I'm just trying to get them off of the people right now, because and after that, it's like, okay, that's the trap, and then like I'm not trying to provoke, because once the poltergeist, once the two flower pots or bushes go after them, the rest of the trap is going to spring, which is basically Henry causing the vines to the plants to float and then just attack. He basically just shoots the 2 flower pots at them.
Okay, I see kind of where this is going. So we get these panels, this 2-page spread even, of these gunmen who are surrounded all of a sudden, not only by smoke from the explosion that they somehow let off, but by these floating ethereal ghost bushes that are like, well, we'll call them shrubs because they have actually wonderful flowers in them. But they're floating up and around, and they're kind of enclosing around these guys, almost like a gang, as Joey's standing between them and looking like he's trying to be a puppet master about it. And in the very next panel, we have the flower pots shooting out of these bushes towards these guys' heads. So I need you to roll to engage a dangerous enemy.
Sweet.
Alrighty, so you get to choose one, I believe. Directly engage threat. I bet.
Well, considering I'm having Joey do this, it's resist or avoid blows. 100%.
That makes sense. So these bushes go flying at these guys. Did you have your +1, by the way, for the danger?
I did.
Good. These pots go flying at these guys, and they clock them clean in the head. And these guys start shooting wildly at the bushes.
There's no one in.
Exactly. There's absolutely nobody in them. But they're shooting at the bushes because they think those are kind of the ghosts. And when that happens, Joey immediately ducks for cover. And the woman that these guys are kind of trying to get the jewelry off of, they manage to kind of break free a bit. And they start scrambling away. But these guys are still there, and there's still a number of civilians who are inside this part of the venue who are panicking with these folks inside. And Joey texts you back saying, like, we got him good, but there's still people in here. We're trying to get him out. What do I do?
Stay safe and try and get some of the cops. If not, I'll send Jacob.
Alrighty, and as this is all going on, Perry and Jacob, there are cops who are...
Jacob is staring at Captain Bucky from like the shadows.
Yes. Captain Bucky, you notice as all of this is going on, is still sitting and calmly eating his dinner.
So Perry is now standing on the table in front of Captain Bucky.
And Captain Bucky looks up at you. And he just kind of says, "You appear to be a vigilante."
I'm more a hero than you are.
Well, what's a hero going to do in this situation?
Get these people to safety and stop these idiots. Not eat their dinner.
He nods at you. Says, that is probably what a hero would do.
You're no hero.
And you have guns that are pointing at you. You don't appear to be a hero either. I'd suggest that you maybe let the police do their job and let them take you in so that they can help those people that dearly need it there in the venue. You're a civilian, son. You should probably let the police do what they're here to do.
The poor misguided police. Always do what they're told to. Also cat cam. Just noticed that. And with that, Perry is going to unleash his powers and summon a massive thunderstorm at the venue.
Okay, just overall? Or are you
Overall.
directing it like... Okay. So go ahead and Perry and unleash your powers. You are summoning the storm, the thunder.
Bring it!
Okay, so describe this storm to me, Perry. What are we looking at here?
You start to see the cloud, the stars disappear because we're at night. These clouds, and you start to hear these rumbles of thunder. And then this bolt of lightning strikes right at the table where Perry's standing.
All right. So, lightning striking at the table. You do realize that the CEO of Gentech, as well as the mayor, are cowering underneath this table.
I'm aware one's about to have a problem with their pants.
Yes, especially because you just terrified him.
Yes. We're speeding things along, apparently.
Oh, apparently. So,
Apparently?
apparently, you call down this thunder strike to hit this table, and this lightning strike turns the table into cinders. And thank goodness, though, that the mayor is not hurt by this. The table is totally demolished. The CEO of Gentech there, he's not doing so well. Yeah, he's very, very upset on the floor there. He's kind of like weeping openly and like worse than anybody else, and you know exactly. And Bucky there, as the table kind of hits him there, he has his plate in his lap. And his hands are kind of trembling a bit as he holds his plate and looks up at you, and he is completely like unfazed otherwise though by the lightning that struck. And as his plate is trembling, he looks up at you and he says, I understand that you're angry, son, but you need to stand down and let the police be the heroes tonight.
So
Don't make me sit you down.
So one final thing Perry is doing is he is provoking Bucky.
Okay, what are you provoking him to do?
Take action.
Okay. So roll to provoke. Okay, that's the provoke roll?
Yep.
That's the provoke.
Okay. So he takes the bait. And he does take action by reaching up, Perry, and he grabs you by the collar and slams you down on the floor. And there is such a force and such a speed that he holds you there. And there's so much strength behind how he's holding you that it feels almost inescapable on your own power at this moment. And he kind of holds you there with one arm as he's kind of holding his plate with the other. As he says, clearly, you are either a very troubled young man or a supervillain. And if you're a supervillain, it's my duty to put you down. So, don't move. And he looks over at the officers and says, Officers, here's your culprit. Please help those people in there. And Jacob, you're watching all this unfold from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice as you're watching that Captain Bucky, he's not doing that mile-wide smile anymore.
Yeah.
He actually looks extremely serious and almost frustrated. But what do you do?
Okay, so Jacob is watching all this play out. He sees that happen. He's very much so, like, it's one of these things, he's upset, but at the same time, he's not surprised that Captain Bucky is turning out to be exactly what he thought it was. So, what Swiftfoot's going to do is he's going to quickly, like, speed towards Perry. He's gonna grab him. Like, get just, like, a hand on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to mark a doom track to use Portal and get the two of us out of there.
Okay. You do that. So there's this panel with this blur of Jacob moving towards and grabbing Perry and opening up a portal just beneath you guys. And Captain Bucky is not prepared for you clearly to portal out of there. And I believe when you mark your doom track like that, you just get to do the ability,
Yeah,
right?
there's no rule. It just mark your doom
It makes sense because you're marking doom.
You're spending the resource. Yeah.
Okay, so you get Perry out of there, and as you do so, you notice Captain Bucky kind of looking through you at the portal there and looking very sad and troubled as you guys disappear through. And where are you portaling to?
Probably somewhere on the opposite side of the truck so we can help the civilians out.
The civilians are at the near the front of the venue, like near the entry.
Yeah,
So
like around, like somewhere out of sight over there, but still like there so we can like help.
Okay. So you guys portal over there, and Henry, you notice that your father and all the other guys, they see all this, and like they're in a panic because they're trying to go and they're trying to apprehend. And then he disappeared. They're trying to help the folks there at the front. And now that Perry's gone, they start all moving in towards the front of the venue because, well, the target of their arrest is now gone. So we're running towards the beginning of the venue where there's a still kind of commotion going on over there.
So Swiftfoot's gonna go to look at Perry. Is like, get out of your uniform. Let's just get back to civvies.
Got it.
So Jacob's gonna flip out of his suit.
And
Perry's gonna put his tux back on that he tucked in his bag.
Yeah.
And Henry, something important for you, because all the commotion that was coming out there and all the smoke that's streaming out of there, you actually notice that somebody is running out from the smoke that is carrying a weapon. It appears to be one of the gunmen.
Henry, who is still on the same side as his old man, just runs over and goes, "Dad," and points.
And your father nods at that and goes, "Yeah, I know." Says, "All right, man, watch it. He's carrying a weapon." And they start moving in on the guy. And rain is streaming down, by the way, still, because thunderstorms still happen. And as the thunderstorm's kind of crackling, and this guy's moving, and this gunman's moving in towards the inside of the venue. You kind of watch everything that's going on. And the police start surrounding this guy. They start pointing their guns at him and like telling him to kind of like lay down his weapons lower. And the guy is actually kind of shouting out, kind of randomly. And Henry, you pick up that he's screaming out and he's saying over. It's like, "Doc, come on! Give me a chance!"
Doc or duck?
Doc, as in DOC.
Okay. Henry clocks the doctor?
Clocks means you're keeping track of, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
You're not punching them.
Yeah. Which
in the
doctor?
meantime,
There's at least 2 of them.
Your doctor.
Okay, that's what I thought.
there's lots of doctors.
And Dr. Penguin.
Right.
There's lots of doctors. But yeah, this is happening though out front, and Henry, you're seeing that. Near the front of the venue, there's still one gunman who's still kind of all like discombobulated from the ghost attack and from all the rain that's happening now. And he's like just kind of waving his gun around, like saying, like stop screaming, like just throw your stuff down, get out. And so Jacob and Perry, you guys are seeing this. Do you do anything to try to help these folks? Because the police aren't quite here yet.
So the guy's screaming that. You said he's got a gun, right?
He does have a gun, yes.
Okay. Jacob is going to. It's a very interesting question. Oh. Alright, so, Jacob's gonna remain, like, out of sight, but he's also gonna charge his burn.
Okay, you rolled to do that, right?
I don't know, Mr. Nova. Do you remember how burn works?
Well, I know you have burn. I don't know. Yes.
Yes,
you
it
rolled
works
for
the
that.
same way the Nova Burn works.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know if Doomborn was different, so I don't take that.
No, it takes it from the Nova.
Gotcha.
Yes,
So, go ahead.
yes, it burns in doom instead of in.
Right. So,
Okay, so the high roll. Okay.
full hit, if I remember, is like
Yep,
Whole-
that's hold 3.
whole 3
Yep,
and
hold
nothing
3,
else.
no conditions, I don't think, yeah.
So with that, he's going to, and it's weird to see it because he's actually not in his outfit, so you just see like his outline of himself kind of glowing a bit. That's why he stayed out of sight.
Mhm.
He's then going to use Moat to create basically like. Since there's a fire going on, he's going to kind of do it this way. He's going to create something of a wall of fire that goes around this guy and stops him from moving, like, forward. And if he tries to shoot, like, the fire gets so hot he can't, so to speak. Like,
Nice.
supernaturally so, in other words.
Right, like it's just a fire barrier.
Yep.
Okay. So you do this, and the guy freaks out and sees a fire kind of swirling around him, and he starts, like, shooting at the fire, almost randomly, because he's like, whatever the heck's going on here. And you hear the telltale click of his gun as he runs out of bullets, emptying them all into this fire barrier. And Perry, you have a helpless gunman here who is out of bullets and surrounded by fire, still in the middle of your thunderstorm. What do you do?
I'm good. He's toast.
Okay.
No, Perry is still making sure that, like, the lightning is very controlled by Perry still. He's still making sure that it's not hitting civilian targets.
That makes sense. Okay, so the fire surrounds this guy, and as this is happening, some of the police do manage to get to the area, and they start kind of pouring into this entrance area. And they see this fire around the guy, and they sort of freak out a bit, but they also still kind of hold their guns on the guy and say, "Don't move, scumbag!" I watch very few cop movies.
I'm going to say sounds like someone was playing Final Fantasy IX recently.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. The villain's like, really? Do you want? It's fire!
Right. So, like, Jacob's gonna
Hearts
wait.
on fire.
Jacob's gonna wait until the police have him so surrounded that there's nothing he could do before he drops the barrier.
The guy's out of bullets, and once the police are all surrounding him, like he's got like about 6 officers surrounding him, he like lays down the gun and he just frustratingly like goes down on his hands and knees, like whatever.
Yeah, and, like, as soon as he does that, immediately, oddly, the fire just vanishes.
And when the fire vanishes, the police, they've seen odd things. They look kind of confused, but they don't ask questions. They jump on this guy and like hold him to the ground.
Right, it's like superpowers, someone, whatever, go.
And Henry, back to you.
Yes.
And yes, that trouble is 100% labeled so many brothers. That's right there. The gunman who is surrounded by the police officer, he sort of looks like he's cowering down because he knows he's greatly outnumbered. But he starts like shouting out again, like saying, "Come on, Doc, help me out!" And Perry's thunderstorm, by the way, is still going nice and crazy at this time. And as the guy calls out again, looks like he's about to maybe try to take a shot. A lightning bolt thunders out, like strikes right in the area, right in front of this guy. And if you've ever been anywhere near a thunder strike, when that happens, that stuff knocks you out. And that's basically what happens here. This guy just gets clean blown clear, and he doesn't look like burnt or anything like that, but it was close enough that he's clearly horribly disoriented. And very nearly gravely injured.
So it's like a very, very, very localized flash bomb.
Yeah, something like that.
With a concussive force.
And the police move in on this guy as he's not clear, and they immediately take his weapon away from him. And it looks like, at least like your dad is starting to get things under control. And once they have the guy handcuffed, they start looking around the area for trouble. And meanwhile, they have left the Samedi truck completely unguarded because of all the commotion going on. So, Henry, as you're watching all this unfold, what do you do?
Henry is keeping his eyes on the truck.
Okay.
Jacob's keeping his eyes on the suspect.
And
Perry's stealing the champagne.
The Samedi brothers' truck does not move from his position. That's in front of the podium there. In fact, Arthur Samedi, who you can now see in the front of the truck, like at the driver's seat, he looks like he's kind of frozen in place and all the craziness that's been going on, like out in front of him. And like once things have finally started to kind of die down, you could hear him kind of shouting out of the truck at Marco, saying, "Marco, now, do we do it now?" And Marco's kind of like waving his arms, like saying he's like, "No! And at one point, though, Arthur clearly misunderstands it and says, "Okay, now." And he flips a switch inside the truck, and the back of the truck bursts open with like streams and confetti and everything. And you could see in there that there is this huge cake inside that does kind of roll out that says, "Samedi Brothers, superhero advertising, let us make a new super you."
Henry facepalms hard.
Yes. And nobody at the head table really seems to care about that. Bucky is still kind of sitting at the table, like just kind of holding his plate.
Does Perry see this, just out of curiosity?
Perry's in the front. He doesn't see this, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's in the back of the venue at the moment. But it's not going anywhere.
Yet.
Yes.
So, Jacob's
go
going
on.
to kind of like saunter over to Dr. Collins.
And Dr. Collins is hiding beneath the table, along with a lot of other people.
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
going to grab Dr. Collins and pull him out of there.
Jake, I'm glad to see you're okay.
Yeah, he kind of backs, like, he kind of, not forcefully, but kind of like guidedly moves him away from everyone else so he can have him.
Right, did you dress back down into civilian clothes, or are you Swiftfoot still?
He just kind of like holds up. Yeah, oh yeah, you're talking about, yes, I did. Yeah, Jacob's
Okay.
Jacob.
So Jacob is Jacob.
Yeah, so he just looks at him like, "Do you know that guy?
He looks like, what guy?
Dude with the gun screaming out for a doctor to give him another chance?"
So, no, I've never seen that guy in my life.
Jacob's gonna pierce the mask.
Dr. Collins?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Full hit. Okay, so that means you're going to ask, was it 2 questions or 3?
3, I think.
Pierce the mask is 3. Go for it.
What do you want me to do?
What does he want you to do? That's an immediate thing.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all pretty obvious, honestly. He wants you to stay safe. And he seems to think the situation is under control, so he actually wants you to kind of stay out of danger at the moment.
Right. Teach, how is the best way to try to figure out, like, is he lying or not?
You're asking the guy who's normally trying to figure out if they're lying or not. I'm usually lying to you.
Fair.
an easy way to kind of figure out what if they're relying on us. What are you really planning?
Yeah, what are
I mean,
you
those
really
are-
planning, I guess?
The long-term thing.
I hate that question.
I know.
What he's really planning is he's clearly planning to just kind of go home after all of this, and probably not come out for another long time. He looks like he's really not enjoying being out in the social limelight right now.
Well, I mean, considering that just there was an explosion, yeah, I would.
Yeah, he's not a fan of it.
No.
But yeah, he's definitely like he wants to kind of get out of here quickly for that reason. And he looks like he's more terrified of the whole incident that occurred rather than, like, ooh, I expected it or anything like that.
Right. And how can I get his character to give me an empty sterile syringe?
Honestly, he trusts you enough that if you asked, he'd probably say.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
basically me saying Jacob asks him for a syringe real quick.
So he looks like you kind of confused with that. And he says, what are you going to do with it?
He looks over towards the suspect. I got an idea of something.
He says, okay, I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of reaches into his coat and he pulls out a syringe. He says, be careful with this.
I will. Don't worry.
Good.
So Jacob's gonna go over towards Henry.
Henry is still clocking everything.
Right. So he looks over. He kind of leans over towards Henry. He's like, "I need to get a sample of that guy's blood."
Which guy?
The suspect, the guy that they're arresting.
Then go get it.
I don't know if I can just do that with everyone around. I'm pretty good with these things, considering how much crap I've had to shoot into myself thanks to Dr. Collins.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be able just to walk up to a guy in handcuffs and prick him with a damn needle.
More along the lines of I need a distraction so the police don't see me doing it.
I'm not the distraction. That's Perry.
Harry!
Perry walks in, sees the sign and the cake, face palms, and then is going to unleash his
Don't touch
powers
the cake. Don't touch the cake. Don't touch the cake. Don't touch the cake.
to make the cake have a giant ice pillar above it.
Not what I was expecting.
No, me either. Do you want to spend team to make it look
Heck
pretty?
yes.
No.
Yeah.
You guys have been rolling so well, you haven't really needed the team this section.
Right, yeah. Let's see. Jacob's gonna help out by,
Oh, hold on.
Wait, okay.
I'm going to use it selfishly with team.
Oh, okay.
What team?
Oh.
Clear a condition or mark potential the first time in a session that you use team to help a teammate take +1 forward.
No, that's not doing it that way.
doesn't do
Oh.
You have to help. You have to help us. You can't help yourself.
Yeah. The idea is that
Oh.
if you're a delinquent, you're always helping yourself anyway.
Right.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So Jacob's gonna spend team by
Okay, that's
um
fine.
yeah by you're creating an ice pillar.
Yeah,
So
just a giant ice
right. So
thing.
Jacob sees you doing this, and you're having it's the storm's still
Actually,
going.
hold on. Retcon this a bit.
Okay.
I know the distraction.
Okay.
We've made it already.
How?
The CEO.
Oh no.
You're right. I forgot about that. There is our distraction.
So I'm going to actually let you roll however this happens because I have a move for it since we've done it. So
Oh,
figure out
okay.
how... Oh, troublemaker.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait,
figure out how you...
Yeah, go on.
When you help a teammate through destructive, criminal, or rule-breaking actions, you can give them +2 instead of a +1 when you spend team. So figure out how you want to do this,
Right.
OPT, and then
So-
I've got your back.
Right. So, my idea was that once everyone clears out, he's just gonna kind of slip over, and if there's any other police officer like around him at the moment, like assuming there's like only one guy, because you'd want to have an officer on the suspect regardless of anything.
Yeah, there's
So
still
he's
like three
gonna
guys.
go to that officer and basically try to provoke him to like turn around, like look like go over like Henry.
point-
What's your last name?
Dude, Lamontagne?
Lamonte. Like, it's detective, right?
Detective, and it's William.
Yeah, Detective Lamonte is looking for you.
Roll to provoke.
Right. So, yeah, that's at a -3 for me.
That's where you're going to need Perry's help.
Right?
Perry,
That's why you're
up
going to
away.
need Perry's help.
I mean, that's actually not a bad roll for a -3.
It's not. That's a perfect roll for the story.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is.
So
Because, yeah.
at that point,
Okay, try just. Or do you got it?
no, you can tell how this CEO explodes.
Oh dear, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, I'll do it then.
No, it's fine. Oh no, it's Teach. Anyway,
For the record, the no tease is I might have just gift the great mighty poo.
Yes. Okay, Jamie. For all of our sanity's sakes, go ahead and do it.
okay. So, as Jacob motions over there, like, look, Detective Long needs you. Perry, your laxative that you put in the CEO's water, it's too much for him to bear. And he comes barreling away from the table, holding his rear end. He's like, please, no! And he's running past them. And, like, it's almost like his butt's on fire, which is basically the kind of speed he's clocking. And these officers are just all distracted as they're all like... And, Jacob, that's your opening? To stick the suspect.
Yeah. And
So that's a 1-2, but it's a +2, so you got an 8.
Yay. Yeah, so Jacob's gonna, as I said, Jacob, having been working with Dr. Collins for quite some time, knows how to do this well enough, so he's just gonna, act like he knows exactly what he's doing, and considering the suspect's probably still a little, out of it and whatnot.
He's actually pretty out, yeah.
Yeah, so he just goes and does it real quick, and then takes
Okay.
a sample of his blood.
Okay, so you get a vial of this guy's blood. It is a human, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
okay, so you pocket that syringe of blood, and nobody is the wiser because of your brilliant distraction.
So, yeah,
And-
and then Jacob immediately just saunters back towards Henry.
And Henry, by this time, Joey has come out as well towards you, and he looks a lot better for the wear than he has been over recent past days. Because for once, he didn't actually get shot at.
No, he was doing the shooting.
He was basically
Ish.
in a way, kind of. But no, he looks like he's in pretty good spirits because everything seems. Because it's like, okay, they got all the gunmen. The policeman got him arrested there. It's like, that wasn't so bad at all. So, what do you
One of our
guys
better
do?
outings. Yeah, one of our better items, for sure.
And nobody almost died.
So, Jacob's gonna lean over to Henry and everyone, and he's gonna pull out his phone, and he's gonna show the fact that he recorded on the entirety of Captain Bucky just sitting there while this was going on.
And speaking of which, as this is going on, Captain Bucky is still kind of sitting at the table, and as the mayor kind of shakily gets to his feet, and really there's nobody else to make an announcement, so the mayor just kind of raises a hand for the police, and Detective Lamontagne, or actually no, police captain comes over, if it's whatever. Yes, this police sergeant actually walks over, and the CEO talks to that for a little bit, and it's pretty clear when the police sergeant turns around and says, all right, everybody, show's over. We're going to need to round folks up for questionings. Just stay safe, and we'll all get this done quickly. But party's over for tonight. And there's kind of a collective murmuring throughout the crowd as everybody's kind of getting up from their tables. As the officers are getting the suspects to their feet and walking them out towards the police cars.
At this point, Henry's going to go over and find his dad.
Okay. Your dad's directing some of the suspects to be kind of taken away as you kind of go over the facts with some folks. As you come up, Says, oh, good to see you stayed safe there. That was a bit of a dangerous thing, but you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, but something about this doesn't feel right.
I know what you mean, but
Like,
what do you
why?
think?
Well, you drive a truck in here, you label it, you have a giant cake show up, and if you're planning on advertising a business, you won't have a robbery. This feels like they want people to let their guard down. Like something just feels wrong about this.
You got all this together? I agree it's suspicious. And we're definitely got to take a close look at the Samedi brothers and their legitimate business they have going on there.
Also,
But,
question:
hmm,
why during that whole thing did Captain Bucky not lift a finger until someone showed up to threaten? Supposedly, like he did nothing.
your father sighs. He says, yeah, I figured you'd notice that. Honestly, this ain't the first time I've seen that kind of a thing. Problem with having a government lapdog superhero is that he only kind of jumps when the right people tell him to.
Oh. So I know you're not the biggest fan of heroes, but if they were ones who were doing the right thing for the right reasons and doing it properly, would that be something you'd at least entertain?
He shakes his head as he kind of pats your shoulder and says, the right ones did do something properly tonight. He kept us on our toes, and we did our job. And he's actually shifting up your superior, because you paid attention, and he's lowering your danger.
Well, this is the one that you had from earlier, so I'm taking it.
Yep. Yeah, the right people did do the right job, and it got done. But there was that one costume freak that popped up there, and I can't believe he got away.
Yeah, but what he was saying made a lot of sense, though, because it was his speech that got me thinking about it. Because, he might be suspected of causing all that, and whether it's true or not, I don't necessarily believe it. But unlike Bucky, who sat there waiting for a government paycheck, whether he was bad or good, he was at least stepping up to do something. And if he's the one who caused that thunderstorm, maybe it's just me, but I didn't see that thunderstorm hurt anybody. I mean, if he was really bad, wouldn't he have just been throwing lightning bolts like the mayor or you or other people like that?
I'm not sure I noticed, but he did throw a lightning bolt at the mayor.
No, he threw it at himself.
He threw it at the table that the mayor was sitting under that Bucky was in front of. He made an open attack. And he hit a lightning bolt at that criminal there that almost incinerated the guy.
Did you not hear what that criminal was saying, though? He was yelling for Doc, and I'm sorry, no offense to whoever that is, but I don't think he's smart enough to be a doctor.
No, I don't think so. But there's a million doctors in this place. I don't know, maybe he wants some service, or maybe some doctors on his pay, or maybe he's on the payroll of some doctor. I don't know, but we're gonna find that out. It's definitely weird, but he also could be on something.
Yeah, maybe, but I guess if anything like this ever happens again, what? I mean, I didn't hide per se. I should have kept watch, kept my eyes open or anything, just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
If this happens again, how do you want me to react? How do you want me to act? And I'm actually triggering a move here.
Ooh, go for it.
I'm triggering I am what you see.
Ooh, okay, explain that to me, please.
When you spend time talking with somebody about your identity, you can ask them which label they wish to impose upon you, in this case, a label shift. They will tell you honestly. If you accept what they tell you, take +1 forward and either mark potential or clear a condition.
honestly, Henry, if you see things like this where things are getting this crazy, first thing is always to get help. I mean, your dad's a police officer, crying out loud. You know, you can always contact me. Second thing is to get out of there if you can. And if you can't, you try to stay safe. And if you can't do that, you try to make sure the people that are the most vulnerable are at least safe. You got that?
Feels 100% like Savior of Danger Down.
Yes, that works. Yes.
I'm going to accept it. I'm going to take +1 forward, and I'm going to mark potential, which gives me an advance.
Yay!
Yay.
No, you did good tonight. Sorry. go on.
So, Jacob just looks over at Dr. Collins like, how are you getting back anyway?
Dr. Kyle looks at you and says, "Oh, I rode my scooter over
Okay.
motorbike, but
Yeah.
you know,
Gives him a pat on the back. The thing's pretty slow, isn't it?
he gets here. It's easy on gas. It's a pretty good all-terrain vehicle.
Cool.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
Just wondering.
You coming back tonight, or are you?
I don't know. It's kind of been a long day.
Yeah, I see that. I didn't get to see too much of what you did there. He kind of lowers his voice, but I didn't know that you could do that thing with making portals.
Yeah, that's kind of new.
Keep an eye on that.
Looks up his ears. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you make sure you take it easy tonight, though. This has definitely been stressful for, I think, everybody involved.
So, Doc, you really don't know who that guy is, though?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know who he is. I don't know why he was here. I mean, the only thing that maybe stuck out to me, I mean, it's kind of random, I guess. No, it doesn't mean anything.
What is it? What is it?
Says, well, while I was hiding there under the table, I was looking over across the way, and well, I saw those folks that were over at the whole Storm Tech group, the whole Storm group over there.
Mm-hmm.
While all the thunder and lightning was going around,
Yes.
everybody else was looking all scared and such, and they actually looked like they were working on something.
Who is that?
He points over at the table across the way, and you recognize the people that Perry and Henry were encountering: the penguin, the older gentleman, and the lizard lady, who were with Storm Tech. You see, he pointed over there. It's like those three over there.
So,
Like when all the lightning and stuff was going on, they looked like they were conferring more than they were being panicked like everybody else.
Gotcha. So, Jacob's going to pull out the vial of blood he's got, and he's going to kind of slip it to Dr. Collins and just be like, I got to sample the guy's blood. If he's calling for a doctor, he probably needed something.
I'll take a look at this. And I'll get back to you if I find anything.
Yep. Let's be careful.
You too.
Call me when you get back to the lab.
I will. And he kind of pats you to go on as a police officer comes up to question him, and he surreptitiously pockets the blood.
Yep. He's going to go back to his friends. He looks slightly uneasy, but he goes back to everyone else. I forget, is this like a Friday?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right.
Specifically Friday.
You get over there and Perry goes, that was fun.
Kind of just, he gives a small little smirk over at Perry. Looks over at Henry. He's like, yeah, we had a little interesting fun.
I mean, we had a Joey Torgeist over there.
Yeah, that was the
Strange
thing.
his tie. I actually felt like a hero.
More of a hero than Captain Bucky. Either one of you have a really good use of social media?
No.
Joey
Not
shrugs.
really.
I run that website.
Yeah,
Keep my name out of it.
I just have something I think would be a good idea
But
for the world.
If
to
you
see.
want to do the whole "this isn't a real hero" shtick,
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Well, but I like Captain Bucky.
Well,
He's a good guy.
Well, Captain Bucky decided to sit on his bunny rear end and do nothing while people were in trouble. That's not a real hero.
And had he made me a little bit madder, I'd have fried his bunny rear.
Jacob,
Yes.
I don't think it's wise to put that up.
Why?
Because if you put that up, someone else is going to show up with the full-length video that shows Perry cracking a lightning bolt down the table, and it's going to make Perry look very, very bad.
Put a picture up.
It's. I know what you're saying. I know what you want to do. It's just, what does bringing down his name accomplish right now?
Right now it opens up, it opens up the possibility that we have a little more freedom than stalking around at night.
Do you really think that's going to work? Or do you think there's going to be a media machine behind it? And it's all going to be the police handled it? Because guess what? As far as all the onlookers are concerned, my dad and his men handled this.
I really don't like that guy.
None of us like him. That doesn't mean... I get what you're saying. I do.
I'm not. No, you don't get it. Like, Henry, here's the thing. He sits there and talks all smugly about how the only way to be here, you have your powers, you're supposed to like help people, whatever, and then he doesn't even move when people are in trouble. And he's the first one out there that talks all about, superheroes are supposed to be, like superheroes and vigilantes are criminals and whatever. Like,
He always raises his fingers. Superheroes solve super problems.
that.
Exactly.
The problem
Jacob.
is he didn't even bother.
Because he, at this point, is so far up a corporate butthole that it doesn't matter. He's there to make Saturday morning cartoons and after school specials and to sell lunch boxes. I know you have one. Don't you even tell me you don't, Joey.
I know I do.
Okay.
Perry pulls out his little button and stomps it on the floor.
Okay. That's what he's there for. And if that's what's going to make people feel better, then let them feel better. But as it is, we know, us four here know who's really keeping this place safe. And it's not corporate shills.
It's not right that we just have to hide it. That's all we do. We sleep around in the dark all the time. We can't let anyone know what's going on, and I can't even talk to my parents about what's going on with me.
No, you can. That's your choice not to.
I can't. Are you kidding me? Do you know what they would do if they found out I was dying?
It's probably the same thing mine would do if they find out I was actually a freaking superhero.
Yeah. I'd be grounded for a week. No.
No, you wouldn't.
Nah,
You just sneak out.
Yeah,
Because all you have to say is, Mom, my friends are wondering what happened to me. And you'll be fine, because your mother thinks it's amazing that you actually have friends.
right, exactly.
See, you have the easy one. Meanwhile, I'd be grounded for life. And my brother would be grounded for life because he knew and didn't tell them.
Right.
And you probably all would be grounded for life because you knew and didn't tell them.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't, but
No, you'd be arrested.
Yeah, we probably all on
Yeah.
juvie.
Yeah.
Look, there's going to be a time and a place. Okay, trust me. I don't like this whole dual life thing. I don't like sneaking around. I don't like this. But there's going to be a right time for us to do this, and this isn't it. This wasn't something big enough. Although I do have a bad feeling, so I'm still keeping my eyes on everything. That cake is weird, man.
What is it with that? Like, why in the world would you drive a truck and have explosions happen and then drop a cape out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's what I was talking with my dad about. He thinks the same thing, but there's a reason like this whole conversation we've had, I've kept my eyes on this the whole time. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah. This doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Like, there's something we're missing here.
Although we have to stick around anyway, not necessarily to clean up, but we have to do the whole police questioning thing, and I'm pretty sure, knowing my dad, he's going to be the one who wants to question us. Would you rather someone you didn't know or my dad?
No, I guess you're right. We gotta be questioned.
Also,
Sorry?
my cat's snoring.
Aww.
Aw.
No, not
No, it's like a buzzsaw.
Right. Jacob's
So
gonna upload that video. He's got to his personal cloud, and that's about it.
So as you guys are kind of cooling down and debriefing more or less, you do notice that like some of the cleaning staff at the venue, they start kind of like cleaning up some of the mess and everything. They start doing their job while the police start questioning folks more completely about like what they saw and all that happened. And Henry, you're right that your father does indeed come up to question you guys, and he just kind of gives you the whole like base like, "Don't worry, kids, we'll keep it brief. I'm not gonna keep you here all night. I know it's not a great scene." And he just kind of asks you to come with him as he has a few things to ask you.
Dad, can we do the questioning here? Like I said, something about this truck still doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to leave it
The truck?
with the cake.
So like Jacob steps up to Henry and what's your father's name again, William?
William.
Yep.
And he's like, detective, you can. I'll go first if you want to like do us one at a time.
Sure. You want to do it? Is the rain still going, by the way, Perry? Did you stop
I
that?
would think right now it would have stopped.
I'll stop it.
Good. Thank you. So the detective kind of steps aside with you, Jacob, and he starts having a conversation, breaking down like what you saw, all that stuff.
Jacob makes sure to hammer down I saw saw this, saw that, and Captain Bucky doesn't do anything while this was happening, and that and he still was sitting there after that happened, and didn't even move when the guy jumped up on the table and started accosting him and basically saying, "Why aren't you doing anything?" And then the lightning bolt, and then he finally did something, but only that one thing, and then people were then he let the guy get away, and then he still did nothing.
And Detective Montaigne kind of rolls his eyes a few times, like, "Yes, I know, I get it. But I mean about the criminal and the stuff that happened with the shooting."
Yeah, I mean he fills in the other details that he saw, but it's like when he gets a chance, he gets that little.
Yeah, the detective is clearly very sympathetic.
Yeah.
Toward your feelings, but he also doesn't entertain them very much.
Well, no, it's not that he's entertaining. He's taking a police statement, so he's making sure he's getting that as part of his actual official statement.
I got it. And as he's questioning Jacob, Henry and Perry, you can see the Samedi brothers there, and they look kind of crestfallen, as like nobody's really paying attention to their cake, and so they just kind of start quietly shuffling it back into the truck, and they kind of soft like arguing between each other, and you can't make out what they're talking about. But it looks like that they're kind of both upset at one another at the moment.
Should we go see if the cake's edible?
You really just want a piece of the cake, don't you, Perry?
I sure do.
Yeah.
Fighting crime's hard, and it needs some justice dessert.
Ooh.
I'm not sure what's going on at your place, but it sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
It feels like nails on a chalkboard.
Okay, so I guess Henry and Perry will walk up to, and probably Joey at this point will walk up to the truck with the not Samedi brothers.
So you guys walk up to the truck, and Marco's like, he gives kind of a happy smile as he sees you come up, and he looks clearly crestfallen. He says, "Oh, hi boys, good job tonight. Sorry about everything that happened. You're safe, right?
No bullet holes.
Good. I'd hate to lose one of my best waiters." And he kind of like looks over at the cake because he sees clearly Perry, and he's like, "Oh, if you want, nobody else is gonna eat it now."
Don't tell him that; he'll eat the whole thing.
Cake!
And so Marco kind of eyes that as he kind of says, I got it." And he walks over to the cake and takes a measured slice to give to Perry. And It's
Eat the cake.
no, not that measured of a slice. It's a good size. But
that much more.
the cake is decorated with nice little candy carrots on top of it, but it's otherwise an angel food cake. So
Perry
nice
takes one bite of it. He goes, "No devil's food cake. What's wrong with you?"
it's for a hero. You don't give heroes devil's food cake.
And Perry keeps eating it.
Mr. Samedi, this was what you were all excited and hush-hush about?
Arthur kind of actually peers over Marco's shoulder. He's like, "Are you kidding? This is the new thing. You want to make money? You want to back a hero. Yeah, if you back a hero, you are in like Flint."
First of all, it's in like Flynn.
Whatever.
Second of all, and Henry just goes, "This is the campiest thing I've ever seen, and there isn't a single person I know who would take any of this seriously. This is awful."
Arthur actually kind of like gestures over at the table where Captain Bucky is sitting there, still kind of stoic. He says, "This city's hero is a giant bunny rabbit in a Superman outfit. Campy works."
Yes, but instead of taking the time to advertise this brand new business at an event, why didn't you just wait till the event was over and ask after putting on a big event and a nice event?
This was going to be the topper. At the end of the event, the only thing people are going to think about at the end with all the media moguls, whatever, are going to be the Samedi brothers and their super advertising.
Oh, now all I'm
Well-
thinking about is bomb.
How super lame it is.
Well, if you got any better ideas, I'd like to hear it.
I would have had several had you asked. You eat your cake. Because no, nobody cares about skywriting. I know you're going to go for skywriting.
But it's
No,
it's
nobody cares about skywriting.
But
Eat your cake.
It really is a bad idea, Gig. It's nobody cares.
Like, Mr. Samedi, had you asked, I probably could have come up with something. Like, being flourishy and creative is kind of what I do. I mean, have you not met me? Like, come on, hello, hi, yes, hello. Like, flourishy, creative, like, I can do this. Like, yes.
Marco kind of shrugs. Well, you're a waiter, and it wasn't one of your job responsibilities, and I didn't want to have to pay you extra for it, and you know how it is. And besides that, if it had gone wrong, you would have been crestfallen, my boy.
It wouldn't have gone wrong.
Well, maybe in the future, he looks at his brother. In the far future, we can maybe put our heads together and take some of your suggestions to heart, because I don't think this new business is going to take off anytime soon.
No, probably not. And just for the record, you should know all of my ideas are fabulous.
Fabulous!
I actually think I'm going to end the comic on that note. Because we're going to kind of draw back on the camera there as we kind of see the whole thing of the suspects being led away into the cop car, Jacob being questioned by Detective Lamontagne, and Henry and Perry talking to the Samedi brothers and them looking completely flummoxed at the whole situation. And as we're kind of going out and the rain clouds have disappeared throughout the evening, the moon kind of shows in the sky and looks, for once, bright and peaceful, and with no trouble in sight. At least for now. And that's where we're going to close the comic on that for tonight. Again, for BCC, this was Emerald City with TGE, Narestra, and OPT Lawyer. I've been your GM, Chameleon Ice. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Bye, all.